Go ahead, Akshaya.
So today, when I looked at the poster that was circulated across, I was wondering, what does the title even mean? Should I talk about the darkness or the evils? What does the title actually talk about? And that is when I decided, okay, let me ask Abhijit, what does he mean? And after that, I Googled it. And it looks like this talks about a phenomena where we tend to dislike people who share similar negative habits as us. And this takes me back to my school days where I used to hate everybody who had a curly hair in my class. So even though they were very nicest people, fundamentally accommodating, very lovely to talk to, I used to hate them. I used to think that they're the worst people on the planet and these are the people I should stay away from. Cut to, at the age of 18, I only liked people who had curly hair. I would only watch Tapsi Pannu's movies. I was only interested in Belastic Lestrange. So these were the people I loved. I felt that curly hair people had a crown, and only God gave this crown to few people in this world because only they had the panache to carry it off. So on the day of international, on the day where we celebrate biodiversity on this planet, which is the 22nd of May, I feel this topic is so relevant because it is really important for us to accommodate and open our arms and our hearts to the diversity around us. So on that note, it's time to call it open on season 1, 25th episode of OITC. So to direct and carry the show forward, before I call upon the Toastmaster of the day, Abhijit, as well as the president, it's time for me to reiterate some rules. So since this is going to be a virtual meeting, I request all of you to stay glued to your screens and switch off from the world outside because it can give us this time to take a breather and get back to what we feel as a drill. And most importantly, please refrain from using the taboo words or the taboo topics. And I don't think it's important to go over it again since it's registered in all our minds. So take a breath, have some fun, and I hope we have so much in store for you. With that, I hand over the Dabi to the director of the 25th episode, the Toastmaster of the day, and the president of OITC, Mr. Abhijit Kaul. Toastmaster Abhijit Kaul. Thank you.
Just a minor correction. The presiding officer today is Toastmaster Hind. So I'll actually hand it over to Toastmaster Hind for today. Go ahead.
Thank you, Akshaya, and thank you for redirecting it, Abhijit. A very good evening. Are we already in the evening? When does evening start? That's a question that I always fail to answer. A very good afternoon / evening to you, and welcome to I would like to call it a milestone meeting because this is our 25th meeting and it is also our 6th online meeting. We have come a long way. It doesn't feel like that we have come so far in itself. When we look at our meetings today, it doesn't, we don't know we have come so far unless we look at our meetings of the past. Today itself, I was watching videos, the first few videos of our meetings. So we, to people who are not from OITC, we always record our meetings. So I was watching those videos and it dawned on me how much we have grown as a club. Every individual in this club has grown tremendously. Whoever have stayed, whoever have taken up roles. It is just remarkable how much we have improved, and that keeps on reminding me of that proverb that I believe in to the T very much, which goes like this: don't be afraid of growing slowly, be afraid of standing still. With that, I'd once again welcome all of you to this milestone meeting of ours, and I would like to hand over the screen to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Abhijit.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hind, for such a wonderful introduction and such a wonderful beginning to our meeting number 25. For all the Toastmasters, members of OITC, and all the guests, thank you for being here, and a very warm good afternoon to all of you. In 1920, an American psychologist, Edward Thorndike, observed how military officers went about ranking their subordinates based on traits such as leadership, intelligence, and some of the other traits. The only catch here was, in this experiment, that the groups had never communicated with each other before this experiment. So they were literally just looking at each other and giving ranking to each other. He observed that the results indicated that both the positive and the negative traits that were found by the officers were completely based on unrelated traits. For instance, a tall and attractive subordinate was perceived as superior, more intelligent. On the contrary, somebody who was short and relatively unattractive physically was perceived inferior and less intelligent. He was really mesmerized and surprised by what he's just stumbled upon. So two of these are basically two biases that form very much an everyday part of our life, whether we realize it or not. While the former is called the halo effect, the latter is called reverse halo or horn effect. Why these names? Well, how do you represent an angel with a halo on their head, isn't it? And how do you represent the devil, like the horn on their head? Okay, so that's what the horn effect and the halo effect is basically all about, and that's the theme of today's meeting. Both of these biases, play a very significant role in an everyday life. Today, I thought we'll hear some interesting stories from all our Toastmasters, where they were a victim of these effects, while in some cases, subconsciously, they made somebody else their victim. Let's get started with the meeting. We have a very special agenda today. We have an educational session that we are all really looking forward to and ready to learn a lot of things from that. And we have some special guests who are taking some roles here. So definitely their way of approaching these roles would also give us some insights, some different perspectives into how they go about these roles. To start the meeting, let's start with the person who's the main juror, the GE of the meeting. The GE today, we have a very special guest from our, I would say, the club who's been with us to the closest in most of the meetings, the Toastmaster ANZ club, and the Toastmaster for today, the Toastmaster who's going to be handling the GE responsibility is Toastmaster Madhu. I asked him this question: tell me one instance in your life when you were a victim or you victimized somebody with the horn effect. So this was his answer. He said that Toastmaster Madhu said he had a mentee who, when he joined Toastmasters, right after that, didn't even attend the orientation and didn't even attend the follow-up sessions. And he started wondering what's happening here. And he felt that his mentee was definitely very negligent. Just after a few days, his perception completely changed. His mentee became the most enthusiastic member of their club. So what can we learn from this? Frequency of attending the initial meetings may not be an indicator about how somebody has an inherent enthusiasm about something. I don't know. Let's hear more from him. Please join me in welcoming the first victim of Horn's effect and the GE for today, Toastmaster Madhu.
Thank you. Thank you for such a warm welcome, Abhijit. I'm feeling like our own club. I'm not feeling like I'm attending the meeting of a different club. Thanks for that, making us feel like home. Yeah. With this, without taking much time, I would just like to introduce my role. As a G, my role is to evaluate the meeting from the beginning till the end. Each of the role takers in today's meeting. To help me with this, I have three important role takers. I would call them three musketeers. Timer, Toastmaster Supriya. Can you please explain your role?
Thank you, Toastmaster Madhu. When I first heard of the horn effect theme from Abhijit, I was thinking, what were the incidents? Like, was I a victim or did I victimize someone unknowingly? And I thought I'd share one incident in my life where I was the victim. I studied in a school named Atkinson, and that school was actually it was like filled with extracurricular activities. Like, it focused more on the studies and less on the studies and more on the extracurricular activities. So after my schooling, when I went to my 12th, 11th grade, and I told people that yes, I came from Atkinson, everybody was like, okay, it's just a time pass for her. She's not here to study. But then it took really like it took like it close to a month for me to prove that no, I am interested in studies and I take it seriously. So this was one incident I thought of sharing. Coming back to my role, as Madhu already mentioned, I will act as the timekeeper for the session today. Uh, I'll be using the Rubik's Cube to indicate the time. So all the speakers, please watch out for my tile. I'll show whenever I flash the green side of it, that means that you have reached the qualification time. When I show the yellow part of it, that means it's time to wrap up if you have not already done it. And whenever I show the red, that means you can get disqualified anytime, like within 30 seconds after I flash the red side. We have table topics today planned, and this time given for each speaker is 1 to 2 minutes. And I'll show the green, yellow, and red cards at the end of 1.5, and 2 minutes. Thank you. Over to Toastmaster Madhu.
Thank you, Toastmaster Supriya. Innovative way of displaying the timer cards. Now I have AhCounter Toastmaster Fathima. When she was asked what this horn effect, was she a victim or she had any this thing, she said she couldn't recollect anything. But in general, horn effect always works. Whatever she underestimates about someone or herself turns out to be positive. Whenever she has overconfidence in someone, this aspect would be a utter flop. So, AhCounter Toastmaster Fatima.
Hi all, good evening. When Abhijit asked me about an incident in your life wherein you are a victim or you victimize someone, I couldn't tell any. I was thinking throughout the night, but right 15 minutes before the meeting, I got to realize that I have victimized someone very recently. I went to pre-K school for my daughter's admission the very first day. I just told there I want to meet my daughter's class teacher. It was around 1 o'clock, but the teacher was so tired of taking care of around 15 students in her class. I shouldn't have thought that way, but yes, she was not so physically attractive. She was so tired, full of sweat. I was just scared for a moment. Oh my God, she is going to take care of my kid? And I was very concerned. That night I was telling my parents, I'm concerned. I don't know if my daughter would be given the same care as what is being given at home. After a few months, I realized that my daughter was so attached to the teacher, and I went and I always take advice from her on how to react to what children do. How do I grow up the children in home as how you take care of her at school? I felt very bad that I have victimized someone and I shouldn't repeat it later. Till date, I have not done it based upon the appearance. Having said that, today I'm taking up the role of AhCounter. I'll be keeping a track of crutch words, repetitions, pauses and fillers. Crutch words are which we use to connect the sentences, long pauses, repetition of words and fillers which we use to connect the sentences. All the best to everyone, and I would like to look forward to present a nil report at the end of my meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Fatima. Now coming to the grammarian. Someone who shouldn't be here. She shouldn't be working in IT. She should be a English teacher, according to me. When she was asked about horn effect, she said, these are her words, as a child, I was inquisitive by nature and questioned everything that my family followed. So much that my extended family labeled me as rebel. While I was just demonstrating a thirst of knowledge, it was misconstrued as being haughty. This had a bearing on me when I grew up, and my parents would get rebuked for not bringing me up well enough to be qualified for a prospective bride. Over to you, Toastmaster Rohini, to explain your role. You guys can guess. I mean, to read her intro itself, I had to struggle so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Madhu. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, yes, when Abhi asked me, I was wondering, and nobody would want to really say how you victimized someone. And I'm really glad that I'm in a group where someone's actually come up and openly said that. Well, yes, that's my childhood. That's how I was termed rebel, and I was not someone who was like the docile Indian girl. Well, that's something I wouldn't want to talk. But then there are times that we tend to do it to others as well. One such incident I can just think about immediately is that there was this guy who had come to see me, the traditional bride. My parents were parading some eligible bachelors, for prospective to get their daughter married off. And this guy, his first question was like, I think you are in HR or front office. And immediately I judged him. It's like, I thought you are so dumb that you don't know that women can be in various other fields. And that's it. I said, I'm not even talking to that guy any further. Cross chokdi mar diya. So I did. I have done that quite a number of times. I didn't even give him a chance to explain why he thought it was just probably his way of starting a conversation. Anyways, today as a grammarian, my role would be to keep track of all the good usages and not so good usages in the English language. And the word of the day is misconstrue. What it means is that you interpret something said or acted upon as incorrect. So the reason why I chose this word is it's catering to our theme today. So most of us should choose our words very wisely so that, people don't misconstrue it to be something different. So that's the example. A simple one, I will give another example. Caution is sometimes misconstrued as cowardice. Okay, so please use the word of the day. And whenever someone uses the word of the day, please encourage them by applauding. And I will present my report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rohini. I have also started my evaluation from the time I started receiving messages from Abhijit. My evaluation started well ahead of the meeting. I will be coming back at the end of the meeting with my 3 musketeers and present my report. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Abhijit.
Thank you, the Chief Juror, Toastmaster Madhu. Moving on, a young boy fell in love with an extremely beautiful girl. He was mesmerized by her beauty and adored her in every single way. Soon, his conversations with his friends shifted from how beautiful she was to how innocent and simple she was, how kind she appeared, and how she would definitely have a very beautiful heart. Her friends definitely tried hard to wake him up from his dreamland, but all he could see was a halo around her head. Well, it wasn't until one day he saw this girl being extremely rude to an elderly worker in the school and learned how she was very arrogant and her behavior was just like that with everybody he talked to. Well, he soon realized that he was under the spell of some halo effect, something called halo effect. But now he couldn't see a halo anymore around this very girl. Well, let's talk about our first speaker for today. She is again from the ANZ Toastmasters Club and is going to present a very special speech today. She is going to attempt a level 5 project where she is supposed to give an educational session. But let me tell you what she said when I asked her the same question that I've asked everybody. In her situation, in her life so far, could she think of a case where she was victimized or she victimized somebody because of the horn effect? As you hear her today, you will realize the same thing as she says about herself, that she speaks a tad too fast. And whenever she's done that, people have assumed that because she looks like she talks very fast, so she is very talkative. And that would mean that she is not a good listener. It's only when they get to know her and get amazed by her listening skills, presumably, is when they realized the cast of horns effect on them. Let's say the pace of talking and the ability to listen are not very correlated with each other. Join me in welcoming the first and the only speaker for today, Toastmaster Ritika. Toastmasters, being aware and evolve. Toastmasters, being aware and evolve. Toastmaster Ritika.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhijit. Do you remember the time when you were asked to come and recite a poem in front of your class? Do you remember what went through your mind at that time? Do you remember the last time you picked up a role in your Toastmaster session? Do you remember what went through your mind this time around? Do you reckon those feelings you felt years back and the feelings you felt in your recent Toastmaster session were the same? Good evening, Toastmasters and distinguished guests. It's literally an honor to be here speaking in front of all of you in your club, Arista. Thank you for the opportunity. With each passing year, we try to better ourselves, reflect on our shortcomings, be more aware, and evolve from there. With each passing year, we tend to also shed light on our achievements and on our accomplishments. We try to strive to turn over a new leaf each time around. Back in my school days, I don't remember a single time when my name wasn't in the nominations list of an upcoming elocution competition or a poem recitation contest. While my school used to take pride in seeing their name up there, I used to take pride in simply being on the stage and in front of the mic. It was as simple as that. But as years passed by, the urge to evolve started to engulf me. What used to feel complete yesterday became incomplete today. In my endeavor to evolve as a speaker, I realized that just being on the stage and in front of a mic is not enough. There is much more to being a good speaker. I realized that it's time to shed what I already know and strive to turn over a new leaf. Do you remember the time when you joined your company as a fresher and had to send your very first mail to the customer? Is the font okay? Is spell check working? Is the customer's name right? So many questions used to keep brewing in our mind, self-doubt prominently. Now let me ask you, today when you have to drop an email to your customer, do you dwell on it for that longer time? One glimpse and zoom, the mail is sent. What do you think has changed from your fresher days to now? Among the many things, it is your awareness. The more aware you are, the more facts you unconsciously end up learning. No wonder reading newspapers and magazines, watching documentaries, participating on public forums, attending Toastmaster sessions make you more and more aware of the several possibilities of improving yourselves, evolving yourself as a speaker, telling you to shed what you already know, and making you strive to turn over a new leaf. I visited your club a couple of times now. I think the first time I had come to your club as a demo speaker in your practice evaluation contest, just before your club contest. The second time was when I picked up a role of an MOC in your first online session. Do you want to know what stood out to me in your sessions? It was the way your sessions were organized. Due diligence given to your timekeeping. Giving and receiving constructive feedbacks with the sole purpose of improving one another. And most importantly, never ever compromising with the fun elements throughout your session. Now tell me something. Do your sessions become a success just like that? Out of the blue? There must be a reason why we have a sergeant at arms, a presiding officer, a general evaluator, tag team, speakers, and most importantly, an audience. Just like your favorite dish is not just made with one element, a session doesn't become a success with just one role or just one person in it. If your dish has to be delicious, it has to have a little bit of all the elements. Just like that, it's a combination of all the Toastmasters roles that make a session a successful one. If it's a sergeant at arms who sets the tone of the session, it's the presiding officer who sets the context. If it's a master of ceremony who neatly threads the three sections of a session, it's a general evaluator who evaluates the quality of the session. It's only when you are aware of the importance of all these Toastmasters roles, when you are aware of the importance of planning and organizing a session, keeping time, checking your grammar, receiving feedback, and audience engagement, it's only then that you evolve as a speaker. You see, each and every role in a typical Toastmaster session, in one way or the other, teaches you something. It takes you one step closer towards your goal. It tells you to shed what you already know and strive to turn over a new leaf. Talking about a new leaf, who would have thought that this new year 2020 would have changed the tables the way it has? From the time when we used to crave to work from home to now craving to get back to office. From the time when we had to book Ola and Uber to attend an external club's Toastmaster session to now just being a click away. These pandemic times have taught us so many things, good and bad. I'm sure most of us are still reeling with the absence of our in-person Toastmaster sessions, or missing the excitement of standing on that stage and delivering our speech in front of a live audience, or missing flaunting our stage movements. Like everything else, Toastmasters sessions have also evolved. They have now become online sessions. Earlier this year, precisely February onwards, contest season was in full swing. By March, we had finished our club and area contests. Since I had qualified for the division contest, obviously preparations were in full swing. Our brainstorming sessions had started post office hours. My mentors started giving me homework. I was literally eating, breathing, and sleeping my speech. The plan was to amplify my speech at the division level. Sounds great, right? Everything was on track until the news of the corona outbreak spread. Suddenly, everything was derailed. We were in the midst of a lockdown. The division contest got postponed to an unknown date. Later, an announcement was made that the division contest would just have one contest, that is of the ISC, and the division contest for the very first time would be held online. It was bad enough not to have the table topic and the evaluation contest, but what hit me harder was that the contest would be held online. What about my audience interaction? What about my stage movement? What about my eye contact? It was crazy. All my preparations went in vain now. Here I was, sitting in the middle of my drawing room with just the company of my laptop, with that yellow light staring at me. I actually had no time to change my speech. There was no time sitting and brooding over the situation. What I could do was accept it and just get on with it. In these desperate times, I realized that I couldn't change anything except my mindset. When I looked around, I slowly realized and started getting aware of the fact that I'm not the only one who's got impacted with all this. We have schools, colleges, government offices, and several institutions who were forced to turn towards online sessions just to continue with their work. In the midst of it all, I knew I had to shed what I already know and strive to turn over a new leaf. Preparations were different this time. More time in front of the mirror, which I love. More self-recording sessions. Zoom, Skype, Google Duo, they all became my overnight best friends. If not in person, I was badgering my mentors via video calls. You see, when your goal is clear in your mind, ways to achieve it automatically come. My goal was to do full justice to that division contest. I tuned my mind into thinking that the middle of my drawing room is my stage. Well, the day arrived, the day when the Division J contest was scheduled. You won't believe there were 350 plus members who had registered and were sitting behind that yellow light. And here I was, all decked up in my new blazer, which I'm very proud of, in the middle of the drawing room, in front of my laptop with the laptop speakers being my mic, and me staring at that yellow light. You know what I did at that time? Of course, I missed all my fellow Toastmasters, but I tuned my mind into thinking and assuming that those 350 plus members sitting behind that yellow light had come to watch me, had come to listen to what I had to say. With that in my mind, I simply went all out. I spoke my heart out and I gave it all I had. I'm standing in front of you, rather sitting, being the second runner-up of the Division J contest. This victory was the sweetest validation of my Toastmasters spirit and my Toastmasters values. Friends, if are you all finding yourselves asking yourselves questions like, do these online sessions actually derail the values Toastmasters stand for? These sessions are making you unlearn what you learned in Toastmasters. These online mode of sessions are taking away all the stuff that you had come into Toastmasters for. Think again. Once again, shed what you already know. Look around. Be aware of so many other institutions who have also had to go towards online sessions. Take this as an opportunity to evolve and strive to turn over a new leaf. A good speaker doesn't take comfort on a stage or with a mic. A good speaker should be able to stand just anywhere and speak. Speak your heart out. Share what you have to share. Communicate, make an impact, and reach out to the masses. Your audience may not be physically in front of you, but assume that that yellow light you are looking into, there are a score of people behind it. It's a gateway to a many more number of people behind it who are sitting there only to listen to you, to absorb each and every word that you are uttering. A good speaker should be like a rubber band, flexible to all kinds of circumstances and able to hold his or her fort. On a lighter note, let's quickly play. First of all, mute all of yourselves. Unmute all of yourselves, please. And let's play a quick game, all right? It's called not show and tell, it is hear and tell. I'm going to sing a jingle that all of us hear every morning on 93.5 FM, which actually goes on to introduce an RJ. I'm going to sing it to the best of my ability, and you all have to quickly guess it. Don't make me sing it 10 times. Okay, so are all of you ready? No thumbs up in, I want you all to speak.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So it goes like this. Morning number one with morning
Disha,
number
Diksha,
one.
Disha.
Disha.
Yes, RJ Disha
Disha
Oberoi. That's right. Thanks a lot for that. Now tell me, how much do we know about RJ Disha Oberoi apart from her voice?
Nothing.
Do we know which chair she sits on? Or which brand of mic she uses? How many of you have seen the movie Kung Fu Panda? I'm sure most of us have, yes? Mick Wingert was the voice behind our cuddly little Kung Fu Panda. His dialogue delivery, the way he emoted all the emotions was bang on. His voice struck a chord with all of us. Whether it was Disha Oberoi or Mick Wingert, the fact is they are both very good communicators. We may not be able to see them in front of us physically, but they reached out to the masses with their voice alone. It's safe to say that we are not the first ones to be having to stare at that yellow light and deliver our speeches. Friends, it's all about being heard and understood. That qualifies you to be a good speaker. Now, we are Toastmasters here. And what does the tagline say? Where leaders are born. In our continuous endeavor to become great leaders, what's required is to consistently evolve and strive to turn over a new leaf. Make use of this online platform to the best of your ability. Take pride in delivering your speeches on this brand new platform. Make the most of it. No stage, no problem. Use props to amplify your speech. No audience interaction, no problem. Count up to 3 after cracking a joke. 1, 2, and 3. Not comfortable standing in front of your screen? No problem. Sit and use hand gestures to convey your message. Use your voice modulation to impart the impact you would have wished to make on the real stage. We have to do with what we have. Make the most of it. Before I wind up, I'd like all of you to take a moment and remember how far you all have come from the first Toastmaster session to this very day. If it's made a minuscule of a difference too, stick on to it. It's not easy to always be aware of your surroundings, to consistently keep evolving. But if you have a medium to do it, hold on to it. Adapt yourselves to the changing times. Have fun, which you always do. Come up with innovative ways of having your sessions. The PR team, I think the onus is on you all. Come up with innovative and creative themes. Draw audience. Come up with fun contests. Have a flash mob for all you care and spike the excitement in your contests, in your sessions. And you as a club who never ever compromises on having fun elements, come what may, do what you like, but we are going to have fun. You are a club who actually stands by this. Indulge yourselves in these online sessions, wear your creative hats, and club officers, the onus is on you all as well. Be role models and motivators for your fellow members. You see, it takes a lot of elements to keep a club going, a lot of elements to convert an ordinary session into a successful, memorable one. Be aware of your surroundings and keep evolving, because only then would you shed what you already know and turn over a new leaf. Thank you.
Wow, what an amazing speech. Was it just me or everybody saw some halo there? Right on top of like a millimeter above Ritika's head? All right, thank you so much. I think this was much needed, and inspiration is something that you can never get enough of, and we all need some of it in different aspects of our life, let alone Toastmasters in these times. So thank you so much for sharing these wonderful words and moments with us. I'm sure all of us can go back to remembering the first time we had or the first meeting that we had. We started with this quote of, "The journey of 1,000 miles begin with a single step." We actually really abused it by using it so many times. But one thing that we didn't do it enough was to actually use it in planning for our next role or our next speech or our next opportunity to come here and speak. I hope all of us can take this inspiration today and do that more often. So thank you again.
Most welcome.
Moving on. It was 9:30 a.m. and the interviewers were waiting for Rohan to arrive. Rohan had forgotten to inform anybody, and he was still not there at the interview place. Finally, 15 minutes later, he just barged into the room. His shirt was unkempt, he was panting, but he still managed to finally sit down. The first 5 minutes of his interview, he was fumbling all the way. Maybe he had to sprint to just get there on time, or not. Maybe he was just trying to calm himself down to be ready to face the questions, or not. What happened was he did decently in the interview of the technical part of the things, much better than most of the candidates that had arrived that day. However, when the interviewers got together to discuss how he did, one interviewer vetoed his selection, Rohan's selection. And his grounds were, well, he was so late, he was unkempt. I don't think he will be able to keep with his timelines. I don't think he has the creativity in his mind. He'll just not fit in our professional work environment. The devil's horns had sealed his fate. Let's move on to what is touted again and again as the most interesting session of the meetings, the table topic session. Our table topic master is not wearing any horns today, so if he forces you to come here, please do not judge him with the horns effect. When I asked him this very question that I've been asking everybody, this is his reply. One evening, he was playing gully football, just like gully cricket, with a bunch of his friends, when one short and lean kid came and said, "Hey guys, can I play with you?" Well, looking at him, everybody analyzed it consciously or subconsciously and just passed on the opportunity to have him in his team, in any of their teams. He warmed the bench for a while until he had to be called in because one of the team was just losing really badly, and they just thought, well, what the hell, what can we lose, right? So they just called this guy in. A minute into the game, and voila, this guy was the Messi of the streets or something. And he just turned things around on his head, and everybody was just looking at themselves and thinking, what were we thinking here? All right, that was about the table topic master. Please join me in welcoming and the next session of the day, the table topic session, Toastmaster Sumedh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhijit. So I was a little bit nostalgic, 25 sessions, right? I went back and I started looking at how we conducted our Toastmaster table topic sessions for the past 25 meets. And I saw there were different variety of concepts that we brought together, a lot of fun games, a lot of happiness and enjoyment, fun and frolic. So I thought, this is a good moment to discontinue that in some or the other ways and just get back to the very basics of speaking for 2 minutes on any topic we want. Having said that, well, not entirely discontinue it. We'll just keep it to a bare minimum here. I want you people to go back to what you have been thinking for your entire life, your dreams come true, right? And I want you to talk about it while I put you in a position where you can. So this is how I plan this out. The table topic session for today is called Mid-Evening, starring Toastmaster Sumedh, that's me. And what you people have to do is, you will be my guests into this late mid-evening talk show, wherein you would come, you would talk about a topic which I would give you, right? And so basically it would work something like this. So if you are, let's say, a comedian, a famous comedian whom Toastmaster Sumedh has invited to his show, and I would say that you have a stand-up tour coming up, you have to come here 2 minutes and you get to promote your tour to the millions of people. That is exactly 9 people plus 9 non-video participants watching here, right? So that's what we have to do here. So you get 2 minutes to promote whatever you wanted to do, and I will assign you your job profile. That's how this is going to work. Okay. So, all right. Who is going to start off? Or do I have to preemptively pick one person? Okay. Slowly horns are coming up. No one is picking anything up. Let's go with Vamshi. Okay, Vamshi. So you will be an actor, a superstar actor, and you are here to promote your newest film.
Okay. Thanks, Sumedh, for inviting me. So currently, I'm the superstar of the Tollywood industry, and I'm going to. And the director of the movie is no one but the popular director Rajamouli. So, and he thought to introduce. He introduced multiple heroes, and he thought, let me introduce already the existing superstar Vamshi to be one of his movies, and the movies and the expectation of the movie is to cross the collection of Bahubali itself. So, and then I don't want to mention or tell anything about the actress, and because the actress is already pretty popular, and the actress is now Deepika Padukone, and she was very happy, and she was very happy to be working with me, and she also got many tips while working with me to improve on her acting skills, and I guided her completely. And then I also suggested her to Hollywood movies, and then that's how she got the opportunity to work in Hollywood as well. And then coming to the producer was very happy, and even in the Corona situation, existing situation, even though the movie got postponed, or the release of the movie got postponed, the producers are hoping it is going to cross 1,000 crores just because of one name, Vamshi. Okay, that is sufficient. You can imagine the presence of a person is more important, and hence, see, that's why you also called me, because no one are ready to listen to you, Sumedh. Come on, people wanted, if I come to the show, then the number of participants or the number of viewers will increase, the ratings of your show will increase, and you will get more popularity. That's why you called me. I know that. That's okay. So provided I'll give one more opportunity if you are looking for any more details. Okay, that's it from my side.
A hand for Vamshi. He was gracious enough to accept my invite as I was begging for this popularity scheme. Second, okay, I see a lot of guest members here. Can I call upon one of them? Because I think the other people are already role takers. Is that fine, Abhijit? Okay. I see Oscar. Is he there? Okay.
Hey, hi. Yes, I'm
yeah,
there. Sorry.
Oscar is there. Okay. So Oscar, you will be an author who is coming on to my show, and you'll be promoting your new book, the title to which I leave it up to you.
Hey, hi everybody. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'd have to. So, I, of course, like a lot of history and what things have happened earlier. So, if I were an author, and if you would, call me onto the stage, I'd say, you read my book to understand me, to understand the world. As what my book actually means to me, okay, will definitely inspire you, because a lot of these sections have been taken from historical facts and what has happened earlier. I was watching this so I was watching this movie, Charlie Chaplin's movie, the Great Dictator, and he has a speech at the end. So he says that in a world where you have so much of issues going on, at the end of the day, it's just a book that's required, because at the end of the day, all that you will imagine or all that you will move into is in that story of that book. So I'll urge all of you all to read my book and to go into that world that I've set for you. Because already in the world there's a lot of things outside. So if you read my book, you will definitely not feel all those pressures of Arnab Goswami saying a lot of things at 9 p.m. but it'll be much easier for you, and I'm sure you will have a much better life ahead. So enjoy my book today and have an amazing future tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Oscar. Thank you for even mentioning Arnab Goswami. He is one of our competitors. To beat him in the ratings, we asked Vamshi to join the show. Moving forward, I see Varsha P. Varsha, you will be a zookeeper and you have to promote your zoo in front of a national wide audience, which my show entitles you to have.
Okay, hi everyone. I represent the great zoo of Silicon Valley, and in the times of Corona, what has happened is all of us as children, we used to love going to the zoo, watching those animals from various parts of India and of course the world. And in the times of Corona now, it so happened that we have been locked down, and the zoo animals had no choice but to come out and meet you. So my request to all of you is, please don't shy away and step out of your houses and at least take a peek out at those poor animals who have simply come to meet you all. I mean, it is not so hard, is it? So if you can do that, that would be wonderful. And otherwise, beware, the lockdown will not get over. So that is the condition that our government has put in place as per the latest update. And I, being the owner of this zoo, as assigned by our dear government of India, I have the authority to chuck all of you out of your houses if you don't listen to me now. So I hope that is clear. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Toastmaster Varsha. The next participant would be, okay, Toastmaster Akshaya. You will be a beauty diva who is actually going to promote her hair conditioner.
Well, looking at my gorgeous tresses, I can see that all the stress in your eyes is going away. So what else? Would you like to know the secret behind my dresses? It is just that I use this amazing conditioner, which has a lot of love from me to all of you and very less of ingredients here and there. So all you need is a lot of my love to nourish those beautiful tresses of yours. Let me tell you, if you have been suffering from the autumn season effect, I call it the autumn season effect, is where we have receding hair fall on your hairline. So if you have the autumn season effect, all you need is to pick up this shampoo and conditioner. So let me tell you, the conditioner comes free with the shampoo. So you have to pick up the shampoo and the conditioner and the hair mask and the hair oil, which all come in a beautiful package. Just pick this up and walk to your home. And that is the beginning of this fantasy or this miracle which you just want to step into. So it has a lot of love from my heart straight into your house, and it's going to come almost in a lesser price today because it is for the stress that this lockdown season is offering you. So if you look at me, you can think that how in the world is she carrying this crown? Oh my god, look at the Maggies which are donning her head. So in case if you feel like you want to look as gorgeous as my dresses are, all you need to do is to pick up this beautiful kit, which is going to come to your stores very soon. And we are also going to have door delivery free of cost. So in case if you want to buy this, all you have to do is just type Akshaya in Google and you will see this pop up. All you have to do is just press a click and this is going to come straight to your doorstep. And one more important thing which I want to say is this is going to have the aroma of let's say a strawberry plant. So strawberry is good for skin, good for heart, good for not just your head, but again for heart and for your loved ones as well. So buy my conditioner, buy my shampoo, and spread all the love. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akshaya, for that commercial. Now we'll go back and ask the timer whether we can do one more or should we end the show.
We are already going late, Sumedh. I think we have to stop it.
Okay. Thank you all Toastmasters for watching the show. I, your host Sumedh, will be logging off now, and I will leave over the hand over the mic to the TMoD for the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sumedh, for such an innovative table topics, which is really very well fitting for our 25th meeting. Moving on, in my life, I think I have suffered the most of the horn effect through all of my teachers in my school. Okay, so I had only one tiny little fault in the way I was faring up in my academics. I had a pretty bad handwriting. And I always thought that it is because of that only that I get much less marks than I deserve. See, so say here it is, a very simple example of horn effect, where my teachers were definitely rating or assessing my work to be inferior because of my handwriting. Hold on. Is it that I'm a victim of horn effect? Or do I myself have a horn effect that I believe that my teachers gave me a less grade because of my handwriting? While you think more on that, let me move on to the session, to the evaluation part, and welcome the general evaluator for today to tell us how we did today. Please welcome Toastmaster Madhu.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhijit. So I am back. How are you guys feeling about the 25th session?
Yippee.
Great. Let us begin with the evaluation. To begin with the evaluation, first I would like to call timer Toastmaster Supriya to present her report.
Thank you, Toastmaster Madhu. We started the meeting like 4 minutes late. And apart from the presiding officer, every other role taker has actually gone overtime. It might be because of the theme that was selected today, because I've noticed that all of the role takers took like more than 1 minute to narrate to share the incident, and then again it took more than a minute to explain their roles. So maybe next time we have to arrange take care of the agenda depending upon the theme. And we had like 4 table topic speakers today, and both Vamshi and Akshaya took more than 2 minutes. Oscar and Varsha were well within the time. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Supriya, for your report. Crisp report it was. Feels good. She's taking care of the time. Now I would like to call AhCounter Toastmaster Fathima to present her report.
Hi all. As presiding officer initially said, right, it's really a milestone because I was the
Can you be a bit
first...
louder, Fathima?
Hi, is it audible now?
Yes, better.
Okay, yeah. So as the presiding officer mentioned initially, it's a milestone. Yeah, it is a milestone. I was the AhCounter in our first meeting, and now in our 25th meeting, I happen to be the AhCounter today as well. And with the report, I could just see the improvement, the graph where we have come down into aspects of and other fillers. So I'd quickly go over the report. Akshaya as SAE and table topic speaker, Noah, she just used so twice. Hind, presiding officer, Noah. Abhijit, he just used one and he used well a couple of times. Madhu, GE, Noah, no, and fillers, nothing so far. Supriya, it was just one towards the end of the report, which she told now, just now she ended up using 3 more hours. Rohini, Grammarian, you used 2 hours. Ritika, wow, it was just 1 hour in her entire speech of around 20 minutes. So awesome. And coming to Sumedh, it was around some 8 plus. Vamshi, the first table topic speaker, 6 hours, 2 and used 5 times and. Oscar used 5 hours. You were using a couple of times. Varsha 4 hours and one and that's all. Thank you all.
Thank you for the detailed report, Toastmaster Fatima. Now let us hear it from our grammarian, Toastmaster Rohini.
Thank you, Toastmaster Madhu. Okay, well, I'm an ardent lover of phrases and idioms. So there were quite a lot in everyone who spoke, most of them at least. So I'm just going to read out a couple of them which were really good, which I really liked. Um, when Ritika said started to engulf, it really engulfed me. Dwelling on it, and not many people use this. You know, they say only purpose. Very rarely I get to hear it's an old phrase, reckon and sole purpose. So that was something really nice. Brooding over a situation, turntable, reeling with uh, I guess it was something. Yeah. So when you say reeling with certain things, it's amazing that it is constructed in a nice sentence. But there are some of the things that we normally wouldn't want to use. We generally shouldn't be using very quite often. So there was one usage of very negligent. If you want to stress upon a certain adjective, then use a better one. If you have to say very beautiful, then use a slightly better adjective for, say, ravishing, sensational, but not very beautiful. So there was very good, very negligent. So try and avoid that. That should be very rarely used. Then there was another phrase where I grew up the child. So I think it was meant to say bringing up the child. We wouldn't use newest. Ideally, if it is a movie or a book, we would use a word latest edition or latest addition in terms of a person. Like, if you're adding latest addition to our club, latest member to our club, or latest release of a movie or something like that. Okay, then we wouldn't say Bahubali itself. Itself as well becomes more like a filler words, to end a sentence or to continue a sentence. And finally, donning, not in the interest, donning is something that you don on. I think you meant dangling curls. So, and something new I learned was autumn season effect. Lovely phrase. I'm going to copy that and use somewhere. But that's something. And nobody used my word of the day, misconstrue. Looks like that was a little difficult. So a challenge for all of you to use it in your daily life. That's it from me. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Madhu.
Thank you. Thanks for the wonderful grammarian report, Toastmaster Rohini, as always.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to present my evaluation. Let me begin with my evaluation now. Abhijit, to start with, you were forwarding all the messages, agenda, invite. We were feeling as if we are a part of your meeting. We didn't feel we are coming from a different club to attend your meeting. That was very well done. Essay started with the story and caught everyone's attention. That was very well done. Good energy. Probably should have gone through the agenda to know who the presiding officer was, to call upon the presiding officer instead of Abhijit. Calling Abhijit, she should have called Hind. And President, you begin with a phrase of don't be afraid of growing slow, afraid of standing still. Amazing. This is something I learned today. You should have called guest for the introduction, which Abhijit covered you and called upon later, because there are a lot of guests from different clubs today. And meeting was not declared open. Moving on to Toastmaster of the day. Amazing job done. Collated everybody's introduction, shared with everyone, very apt with the updates. When you started, I was just feeling like, okay, I'm listening to some story, very easily explain the theme, everyone could relate to, welcome the guests, pumped up the confidence of the speaker and appreciated the speaker after. Very well done. You did justice to your role as a Toastmaster of the day. Probably agenda could have been a little better. I'm not sure. I thought I should bring this point. So in the agenda, I saw calling up evaluator, wherein for an educational session, we don't have evaluator. I saw that, and then couple of other minor things were there. And moving on to Toastmaster of the day, amazing job done. Very nice concept of conducting Toastmaster. This is probably something is a takeaway from me from this session. I would like to, whenever I'm a Toastmaster, probably I'll try this somewhere else. You ask for the guests to volunteer themselves. Well, good job done there. Everyone started thinking, if Sumedh calls me, what am I going to talk about? Very, 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 very well done. Timer explained her roles really very well. Innovative way of presenting the timer, presenting the time with the Rubik's Cube. These are few learnings. I mean, as a grammarian, Ruhi did amazing job. AhCounter also did justice to her role. So in the end, it was an amazing, I would like to conclude by saying that it was an amazing session to listen to. Ritika, as always, feels good, confidence totally boosted up. You are a true inspiration. One good takeaway was unlearn, learn, and relearn. That is something very much required in this COVID situation. With this, I thoroughly enjoyed the session. I felt like my home club. I'm reiterating it again. So, I mean, it really means. Thanks for the wonderful session. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Madhu, for such a wonderful report. I'm sure everybody learned quite a bit about their roles and also the good things that they did, which is always very important. So thanks for being here today and sharing your report with us. If you look quickly at your chat window, there have been 2 links that have been posted. Sorry, I couldn't bring it up earlier. One is for table topics voting, and the second one is for the best speaker and the best evaluator of the day voting. Please take a minute to just type that link in your browser and vote. All right, as you're going it and finishing it up, just want to share a couple of more thoughts with you. If you ever heard the first impression is the last impression, today's meeting should make you believe that this is the time that you start embracing this thought. And consciously do your best to work towards making the first impression as your best one. Good or bad, fair or unfair, the halo effect and the horn effect are very much a part of our cognitive bias, and we just can't run away from that fact. Remember, if we can't control our own perceptions or biases, we can only wish that we can control somebody else's biases or perception. But with that knowledge, we can definitely try to play the level field by working this around this thing and doing something to our advantage. I hope you had a lot of fun today. You were a great audience, so thanks for listening to me today and coming over here and listen to everybody else. Hope you enjoyed and had a great session. Before we call it a day, I'm just waiting for the results to come my way so that I can announce the winners for today's various roles. All right, the results are trickling in. First of all, the best table topic speaker. Who do you think is the best table topic speaker? Please unmute yourself and just shout out some names.
Vamshi?
If it is Akshaya, I will throw Akshaya under a bus.
Akshaya.
Okay, we heard some names, we heard some threats. All right, without taking too much time, the best table topic speaker of the day. It's kind of a norm. I assure you it's not rigged, but it's again Toastmaster Akshaya. Congratulations, Akshaya, for your speech as a beauty diva, I guess. So I think you did a pretty good job. I hope your sale increases after that. Next up, well, this is an easy one. The best speaker of the day. Do you guys even need me to tell you that?
Ritika.
Absolutely correct. The best speaker is Toastmaster Ritika. Heartiest congratulations. Again, great speech. Thank you for coming over here today and sharing your thoughts. Finally, maybe another easy one. The best evaluator of the day. Any guesses? I heard one name, Rohini. Anybody else has any other guess?
Rohini.
Supriya.
Madhu, Supriya. Okay, all right. We covered almost everybody. So, best evaluator for the day, again, from our friendly Toastmasters, friendly ANZ club, Toastmaster Rohi. Congratulations.
Great.
All right, I guess that's all for today. From my end, I'll sign off and hand it back to the presiding officer. Hope you all had fun, and I would really encourage you to take up the Toastmaster of the Day role in the next meeting or the meeting after that, or whenever you intend to plan for one. Over to you, presiding officer. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhijit, and thank you all of you for this amazing meeting. It was one of the best online meetings that I've seen, and I have not only been part of OITC's online meetings, I've been part of other online meetings as well. This was a complete package, just the right amount of everything. I wish more people saw this. It was just amazing. Ritika, your speech and what I am getting out of it was when you said, if you listen to Disha, you only listen to Disha. You don't get to see her face. You don't get to see where she is sitting. You don't get to see her hand gestures, but you still are mesmerized by her. That is what you want. And that is what I'm taking out of that. And the midsummer evening show with Toastmaster Sumedh, oh my God, that was such a brilliant idea. I truly wish we had more time. We could have gotten more people on your talk show and hear them out. And Vamshi, I'm definitely looking forward to that movie of yours. I don't know what the name of that is though.
And, sure, I'll announce it in the 50th Toastmasters meeting.
Okay, we'll have to wait for some time then. Early promotion it is.
Yeah.
Amazing energy from everybody. One mistake from my side that I didn't introduce guests at the beginning. Toastmaster Madhu, thank you for pointing that out. But I will say that since most of you are feeling part of the club itself, it's fine, I guess.
Very
Good
smart.
one.
Well covered.
Good one.
But amazing job, everybody. And Grammarian Toastmaster Rohini, very, very thoroughly put points. Very concise. The eagle eye with which you, I would say eagle eye, but I don't know which animal has the best ear. So I would just say the eagle eye version of the ear that you have was really amazing. Supriya, thank you for keeping the time. Fathima, a really good job. And we got to meet, I think your son, our hellos to him. And this was just the best meeting I have seen, the online version of a meeting. So if anybody has any feedback, the screen is yours.
I think I'll just like to say that Arista, if y'all call us the most friendly club, I think as Madhu rightly reiterated number of times, that we somehow have a nice special bond with Arista. I don't know, there's something about this club that always lets, like, whenever Soumya says that, you know what, our club needs this, like, okay, fine, we'll come in groups and, you know, support the club. And even if you don't want us, we'll come as an audience. I think that's amazing. There's some very good vibes which come from your club. So just keep on with it and, you know, keep your energy levels high, and all the very best. I think catch you for the 50th session.
Anybody else?
It was indeed my pleasure as well joining, because I was just talking to my son, and suddenly my name was called. So that was amazing. So so all the best to you guys, and we'll definitely have a lot more meetings together. This is my first with Arista, and I'm very sure it won't be the last. So all the very best to everybody.
Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, Ritika, for the feedback. I'll ask one last time. If anybody has any feedbacks, feel free to share them with us. Critical feedback, praise. We always love praise. Praise is something that we receive a lot, but we still love it. It's okay. Kidding.
Congratulations, Arista orators in the club. This is a special moment for all of us today. You guys successfully completed 25 successful meeting, as I would call them. You share a special bond with a lot of club, including ANZ and a lot of them in Eco World and Eco Space and other members too around. It shows how comfortable you made people feel, and this becomes your specialty too, right? You never make anybody feel that they are from a different club. We do have your club mentor. We had it. I think she left. Ashwin is one of the club sponsors who's still available here. A lot of people that I know, Akshaya, Hind, Abhijit, Vamshi, I'm talking about Supriya, I'm talking about Sumedh. A lot of people, all of these guys, they're very active, and a lot of others that I probably cannot remember right now. It's all of you who made the success of this club thus far. Wishing you all, a continued happiness and support and love, and we can't just wait to see you congratulating on the 50th and then 75th and the 100th meeting. So best of luck. Thank you so much for this special meeting today. Very well done. On that note, Hind, you said you are probably looking forward for feedback. I think G already mentioned. Whenever you probably put up an agenda, right, for a meeting, just probably ask timer next time how much does a person for a particular role takes. So if I'm saying, let's say Sergeant at Arms takes 2 minutes, it's fine to be there. But if it takes, let's say, longer, just change it. So it's always in a corporate environment, it's always best to put 5 minutes extra than a 5 minute lesser. Let's say if the meeting was supposed to be over by 5:15, I would have appreciated if it got over by 5:12 rather than 5:26. That's just one bit about it. Maybe a better agenda. And that's it. A lot to learn, a lot to celebrate. Thank you. Congratulations. Over to you, Hind.
Thank you, Area K1 Director Mazahir, the coolest dude on the screen right now. With that, I would call this meeting a close, or end this meeting officially. Thank you all for joining, and thank you for this amazing meeting. Have a good evening. Rest of.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
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 Great meeting, guys. Bye, 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 bye.